What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Prox here, and I'm back with another video for you. It's Friday, so it's time to do our weekend tutorial, our little weekend tip. We gotta get a name for that. Anyways, today we're gonna be talking about caustics and the way it bends through translucent and transparent materials, light bending. Basically, in the background here, as you can see, we have some diamonds just laying on a gray plane. We're not going to be rendering diamonds today, but it's a good illustration to some of the materials that predominantly produce caustics, the caustics effect. And what happens here is that light shines through a spotlight, which is up here, into the diamonds. The diamonds scatter the light and spread these sort of light points throughout the scene. And it also reflects light, which creates the same effect. So let's start up Max here, and today we're going to create a simple scene. And I kind of, I wanted to I wanted to show you the diamonds, but some of you don't know how to model that well, probably, or maybe you do. And if you do, you can model a diamond, but I'm not going to show that here. I'm going to show you a simple way how to create a caustic scene, and I want you to play with it. I want you to get nitty gritty and work with it. So let's set the length here for 3 meters times 2 meters, and let's turn off the segments. I'm just gonna do like a quick scene here. All right. And if you don't know how to model or you don't know how to create this kind of scene, you can either try to follow what I'm doing, or you can go to my YouTube page and check out the tutorials there. There are some modeling tutorials there that'll easily teach you how you can create this kind of stuff. But it shouldn't be too hard to follow here. I'm doing everything because often there's a lot of people that they kind of watch the video again and again, and then start asking questions about how they did stuff. And I thought about having a pre-made scene, but it's better to just do this quickly. It's always nice to have a pre-made scene, but like a cooking show, everything is just there. But this time I'm just making some quick models. So making a torus knot here, it's a little bit big. Pull it up and align it with the surface. It doesn't have to touch. You can make it touch if you want to. Anyways, make it dense. The more accurate your models are, not that much, the better the caustics are gonna look, basically. So make a dense object, dense material, a lot of polygons. That's good. Okay. So now that we've created two objects, basically our backdrop and our caustics generator, I'm going to create some lights. Now you can do this with any light, but I'm going to choose photometric lights because I like that realism, son. Realism is nice. I like it. You don't have to. You can do it with any of the lights, basically, any of the max lights. But and it's actually harder to get good results with the photometric lights. But whatever. Do whatever you want. Choose whatever lights you want. You can fiddle around with it. I'm just going to show you the basics. So indoor daylight. Set the scene for that. That is great. And then I'm going to turn on shadows for this. And no. What am I doing here? Ray traced shadows. I'm going to make it a sphere. Area sphere. And going to turn it down to 1000 because it was a little bright. Now this one, I'm going to have the light distribution changed to spotlight and targeted, so we get a target down here. And move that up, like so. Alright, so it's gonna be one of those like super tutorials where I speak like Asian. And here we look at our model. We can see how. I'm just joking. Oh, that's a bug. There we go. And Just I'm just gonna make a little bit of distance. Yeah. What you want to try and do is when you create this spotlight, get the object inside the hotspot, if you get what I mean. This inner ring is the hotspot, the outer ring is the fall off. And to make the hotspot bigger and smaller, you just go into where it says distribution and you can sort of change it right there. So, like so. And you can also turn this into an area light. I'm going to use a disc right here. And the bigger this disc is, the more diffuse the area, the caustics effect is going to be. It's also going to be more noisy and require more photons. So we're gonna make it small for now. Pretty small. And we have our 2 area lights here. We might make a render just to see what it looks like. But first we need a camera. Right? Yeah. So go in here and camera, target camera. Target the camera there and move it up, move the target up, press C. Great. Turn the camera on, turn it realistic, illuminate with scene light, turn off the grid, and show safe frames. Make a render. Yeah, looks okay. Let's scroll down. Where is it? Render, comment, there. Setting it to widescreen format. Yeah. That's great. Now, sorry about if you hear the banging noise. Around here, there's something going on in the house. Somebody is making some dinner. So don't mind all that craziness. Yeah. So now that we set up our scene, we have our camera, we have our 2 lights, and we have our backdrop and our model. First, we're going to select the model. So the model, the backdrop, and the spotlight. Right click, go into Object Properties, and under the Mental Ray tab, check the Generate Caustics. Now we want this for this light and not this light because this is just to illuminate our scene so it doesn't get too dark and you get some nice soft shadows behind here. But this one is to create those sort of light focuses of light. So after we've done that, I'm just going to make we're going to go into the materials, and we're going to this time choose from the rollout here. We're going to choose glass physical. Now, in fact, I'm going to create a material so you can see why I choose the glass physical. Under the diffuse here, you can just make this white. This doesn't matter. This doesn't change the color of the material because it's going to be translucent. The reflectivity can be turned up to whatever you like. Actually 0.8 is good. 0.5, whatever you like. I wonder what the template is set to. I haven't really checked that out. Let me just see. Yeah, they set it to fully reflective, but that's up to you, you know. That doesn't really matter. Well, you can set it to fully reflective. It doesn't really matter. This was what matters. Make it fully transparent, like so. And this is the index of refraction. If you hold your mouse over the spinner here, it'll tell you what number equals what material. So it says diamonds 2.4 and crown glass, which is about what we're trying to make, is 1.52. So 1.52. And we're going to change our BRDF parameters rollout to by IOR, aka Fresnel reflections, the Fresnel effect. And under advanced rendering options, I want you to turn your eyes to this area, advanced transparency option. When caustics are enabled, transparent objects, click on refract light and generate the caustics effect. This is kind of important. Now you can have this on. You can set the max distance to, I don't know, something that suits you. I don't know, depends on your scene. So I'm just gonna set this to 300 for now because I'm not certain how big my scene is. I haven't measured it. But then you can set a color at max distance, and you can choose a color for your material, like so. I think that's gonna work. Don't know why it didn't. Excuse me, I'll figure that out later. Anyway, so this is set to 1, perfectly see-through by IOR, and you don't have to have the refraction on. We can turn that off for now and I can show you later. Alright, good. So let's apply this to the material. Apply the material to the object, and press F10. Indirect illumination, enable caustics under caustics and global illumination, and just enable global illumination, and then just take a render straight away, just so you can see what the initial effects are. And then all of you probably going like, nothing happened. Well, that's true, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because of the photometric lights. The photometric lights are so powerful that the energy standardly given to them is not enough, basically. And this one didn't have shadows for some reason. It's not necessary to have shadows, but it's useful to have shadows. Now remember this here. This is the intensity, 1500 CD. Turn under mental ray indirect illumination panel on the modifiers panel of the spotlight. Turn off automatically calculate and turn on manual settings. And you remember the intensity, 1500. For starting, when we're starting, we'll probably back this up later, but when we're starting, we multiply that by 10,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros at the back there. And we need to add a lot more photons. It's not enough photons being shot. 10,000 is not nearly enough. So we're just going to set it up to 2 million right off the bat. We might even have to go higher because caustics require a very precise photon calculation. And not only that, we're going to turn down the maximum sampling radius to 2 millimeters. All right? We might be changing this later. Caustics is very much a tweak it, see what you get, and then tweak it again kind of function. So render, and then now it's going to take a lot longer. Be aware of that. The more photons you add, the more photon emission calculation process will be going on. All right, great. So now you can see the caustics effect. It shows up down here, it shows up around here, and it even shows up in the back here. Now it's a little speckled. And in order to get rid of that, I'm probably not even going to get rid of it in this video because I don't have time to keep fixing it and changing the settings so much. But you can kind of get rid of it here and by adding more photons. So first off, we're going to add another 1,000,000. And then this one enables and disables caustics. This one sets the brightness. Now we thought the brightness was okay, so we're not going to change that. And this one tells the renderer how many photons should it accept into each sample. And the sample size sets the distance physically, how long it should look for photons, basically 2 millimeters. And if there are 100 photons within that range, it'll turn those into a 2 millimeter dot. So we can up this to 1,000 millimeters, and the filter here sets it's sort of how does it look at the photon, to a box, to a cone, to a Gauss, which is more of like a bell shape. Now the cone is the sharpest. It'll create the sharpest caustics effect, but it takes longer to render than the box. The box is the fastest to render. Now Gauss is a little bit more blurred, and yeah, it's a little slower. So we're gonna choose Gauss for now. And this filter size, the bigger the size is, the more blurred it's gonna be. So I'm gonna leave it at 1.1 for now, and we're gonna see by just changing the photon samples if we get a result. Alright, so I'm just gonna stop it there. I can still see that it's noisy. It's still noisy. And, you know, that can be many reasons for that. But we're gonna play it a little bit more with these, and if I can't get it right in this video, you're just gonna have to play with it on your own. First of all, we can start adding some noise filtering, right? Even though this is for final gather, it works for the caustics as well. Setting this to low, and I'm going to increase the sample radius to 3 and the filter to 1.4. All right, let's try that. Okay, so still we have the noise effect. We got rid of it a little bit more. You can still keep tweaking these. I'm not going to do that right now though. I'm just going to leave it as it is for now, and you can keep tweaking them and tweaking them and tweaking them until you get the right results. I just have a couple of things more that I want to show you, you see. I want to add some color to the transparency. I want to add some blue color. Well, not that blue. Make it pretty white. Add a little bit of blue color. And I want to turn on the max distance. In fact, I might as well just bring out the class physical. Yeah. So they've set the color to black, which will bring out the color in this max distance reflection. And they haven't set any color to the refraction, however. But I'm gonna set the color to the refraction so you can see this more powerfully. Copy and paste. There you go. And now you're going to see something really cool. Alright, so I'm gonna pause it there. Alright, great. So you can see that even though it's very subtle, you can kind of get that the color of the glass is sort of reflected on to the floor here. You see that? However, some of it's still white. And that has a lot to do with the color of the light that it shines through. Now, I thought I set a color here. Yeah. By setting even more color to the refraction slot, like a lot more. Just gonna make it blatantly obvious. We should get even more of that color come through. All right, great. So, as you can see now, the caustics have turned completely blue. And some of them are still white. That's the ones that are reflected off it and not refracted through the light. And this effect works with glass, water, anything that's translucent. It even works with metal. Metal reflects light very powerfully off it. And so the light will create this kind of effect on the outside. See, the light hits here and it reflects down here and it'll create those effects on the outside. I'm not going to show that here, but I want you to play around with this. I want you to set up the scene and play around with different materials and see what kind of effect that they create. And please leave a question. Please leave some questions in the comments below, because caustics can be really sort of complicated depending on what kind of light you're using, how bright it is, how much energy you've given it, and how many caustics, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, I want you to play with it. I want you to try it out, have fun with this, because you can create some really cool effects. First, when I learned it, I sat like for weeks just making like beer bottles, and I made like swimming pools. Swimming pools are really cool. You just make a plane and you put a bump map or a displacement map on it. And if you have a camera underwater, you'll see all these sort of trickles of light, just like in a swimming pool, that kind of bend and creates this really nice, cool effect. So, that was sort of a basic introduction to caustics. If you have any advanced questions, any questions whatsoever about anything related to 3ds Max, and especially caustics for this video, leave it in the comment section below. And if you liked the video, remember to thumbs it up, because it helps out. It helps out a lot. So, yeah. If you want to see more of this, like it, subscribe, and my name is Prox, and I will see you guys in the next video.